All right, everyone being here, I'll call the September 10th, 2019 meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Okay, item number 1 would be snow plow contract rates for 2019-2020.
We did request through a Google form a number of communities to submit their rates. A lot of them had their own DPWs, so they don't really do that. They only contract externally if they need an extra plow or that kind of thing. But there are a few who do it the way we do it in terms of hiring external contractors. Those are shown. My general feeling is that it's pretty much in line with what we're paying, and at this point, why would we want to increase the rates if we're being competitive? If there's a real, problem in terms of attracting contractors, then maybe we could revisit it. But at this point, it would be my recommendation that we just stay where we are.
I'll make a motion. Sorry.
Do we have contracts in place now?
The contracts are set to go out.
Yeah, they're gonna. This is a period of time in the year where we accept applications from contractors to contract with us for the snow season.
So
Tim could probably. Have we got any in yet, or are we?
No, they haven't. We're waiting for the rates.
Yeah,
All right,
we
okay.
can't set, like Mike said last week, we can't. That's why we're having this meeting, so we can set the rates. We haven't had any problem in the past with getting people. So
okay.
I'll make a motion to go with the town administrator's recommendation and keep the rates the same.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, we did.
can I speak?
Yes.
I did speak with some of the contractors who have plowed for the town in the past and who were on last year. I also spoke with some people who plow for Lakeville. I'd like to ask the town administrator which towns he inquired to, if they were towns in Massachusetts or towns that are local to us.
Yeah, we always
Rochester, Lakeville. In other words, because we're
Yeah, Lakeville's
drawing,
right on here.
we're drawing, and Lakeville's rates are on there.
Same thing as
Yeah.
ours. Yes.
Yeah.
The same as we presently have.
Rehoboth, Lakeville, Freetown, Dayton. On a Google form, we generally, what we do is we send out a link. The town administrator, whoever he or she assigns that to, then has the appropriate staff to fill out the form, and everybody gets a copy of that.
Is the board also aware that the town of Freetown Highway Department used to supply the contractors, the independent contractors, with the cutting edges, the cutting
Yes.
edge?
Yeah, that's
And we
good.
stopped doing that.
And we stopped doing that.
We did
so-
stop doing that. The reason why is because we increased the rates so much during that given year.
Oh.
And it was the recommendation of the highway surveyor that we stopped doing that.
The highway surveyor has now come back to the board and asked the board for an increase for, I'm sure that it wasn't arbitrary and capricious, that he's just asking for an increase out of the blue. He was asking for an increase to attract contractors based on costs and his need for securing that people come in. The board's gonna make their decision. As a townsperson, somebody who used to be in the trucking business, but I'm retired almost 10 years now, so I have no skin in the game. I don't contract plows, I don't fix plows, I don't do any contract work for anybody else. The safety of the motorists, the safety of the school buses which travel early in the morning, all rely on the fact that the highway superintendent has sufficient equipment on the road and available to him. It's interesting that in past meetings and reviewing the highway superintendent's duties, no other board is to interfere with the operations of that department that's specifically stated in the state statute. And if this interferes with his operations, it's on the board. The outcome of insufficient plowing or services to the townspeople is on the board and not the highway superintendent. So if and when a finger is pointed,
That sounds
this will be
really like
reviewed.
a threat, really.
No, it's not a
It does
threat. I'm
sound like
bringing
a
it,
threat.
I'm putting you on notice.
No, you don't have to put me on notice.
I'm putting the board on notice.
And I'm not
not
sure
an
when you
individual.
became point number 4, selectmen.
I'm not.
Okay, well, that's what it sounds
Could I
like to me.
offer something
Yeah, I'm
here?
sorry if you take it that way, but that was not
You're
said,
not
that was
sorry.
not said that way. You'll review the tape. That's why it's being
All right,
recorded.
okay, Mark, okay, enough for that discussion. David, you had a point.
Well, my point would be that my recommendation was that we keep the rates at the same level. However, if for some reason in the process of attracting contractors that it appears that there's going to be a problem securing contractors for the upcoming snow season, then we could revisit it. It's not these aren't written in granite and can't be revisited somewhere down the road if that really and truly becomes an issue. I think we're competitive based upon the information I have.
Yes.
Thank you. So you can say that, and we can revisit any decision we ever make along those lines. But here's what's going to happen. Now that that's on tape, and now that there's probably people in the room, they're going to go out and they're going to say, don't do it, because if you hold out, guess what? The board's going to recommend giving a higher amount of money. That's exactly what's going to happen. We have never had a problem in the past, even though we took the cutting edge away, and even though some people have still gotten their cutting edges paid by the highway department. We have
Hold on. No. Time out.
Nope.
No. Time out. We went through that, Lisa.
We did.
We're not, and we investigated, and we came to a conclusion that a blade was given to this contractor so he could continue to work, and he reimbursed the town.
I've never seen the reimbursement, but neither here nor there. I'll take that off the table.
Right.
But I have not seen the reimbursement, and I've asked for it. I'll take that off the table.
Well,
I'm just going along with, look, I'm going along with the town administrator's recommendation.
Well, and I would concur with the town administrator that it appears we are competitive, okay, at this point. If we are not competitive, then we'll have to make adjustments to be competitive. But one of my points has been along for the last 2 years is that we have these issues where the board is setting rates when every year or every 2 years or whatever, whenever it comes to their whim, apparently. And it should be a situation where, okay, we set a rate here, then we have a calculator that's been put forward by the highway surveyor to use as we go through time. And I don't see why the board has to have this discussion about setting a rate when there's a calculator in the process. We set a rate, we allow the calculator, the CPI inflation calculator, to set the rates with the approval of the town administrator. That they shouldn't be coming before the board for this every year or every 2 years or whatever. There's a mechanism here, and then we would be competitive, and there wouldn't be any issue. But my point is, if these rates are not competitive, we'll have to make adjustments. But apparently, the rates are competitive.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yes.
If we publish these rates, when do we hear back from the contractors that they've accepted them? Do we? I mean, what is the
Well, they'll
process?
apply. They submit an application every year, provide us with their insurance and documentation that they're fully licensed and able to operate the type of vehicle that they're proposing to operate. So,
And there's a deadline that they need to do
yeah,
this?
we set up a deadline.
What
Do
is
we
the
have the
deadline?
deadline set, Tim? Or?
I believe last couple of years we used the first meeting in November as the deadline.
All right,
Oh,
so we
okay.
got a month or so before.
Okay, all right. So I mean,
6, 7 weeks maybe.
if we put this out and we don't get enough responses, we'll have to revisit, basically.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's correct.
That's right.
Okay, so is that our drop dead date, 1st of November?
Well, we started. You could get a snowstorm in November.
It would be
Yeah,
the meeting deadline, so wherever the Wednesday is before the first meeting, which is, I can pull that up real quick. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment here. First meeting in November will be November 4th, so deadline would be probably Halloween. So, end of the month.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so the motion was made to approve the rates at the present rate setting. Does it have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The second item is the agreement between
Town of Freetown.
Town of Freetown and the
Light Smart.
Lights group for the street lighting.
This is basically what I've done is I've contracted out through MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. They put the whole list of consulting vendors out there. We had them perform the audit, so we have a street light audit, which basically highlights the pole locations, the type of sodium vapor light that is currently on that existing pole, where that pole is located through a GPS correlation. And what they will do is they're going to negotiate with Eversource for us to purchase the lights. We've already begun that process. They've given us a price. We don't agree with that price, primarily because given the age of the lights and the amortization table, we don't want to be paying full price for lights that have already been in existence for a period of time, basically buying old lights. So we're going to try to continue to negotiate with Eversource. They're also going to provide us technical assistance in terms of helping us line up a contractor, putting together a spec to have a contractor install the lights. As I said previously, what I'd like to do is have a couple of the lights put on a pole so the board can take a look at them prior to us making the commitment to putting those lights on 90 plus poles, so everybody understands what it is. There's also another thing that our contractor, LightSmart, has recommended is that between a certain hours of like 11 p.m. and 5 a.m., when there isn't as much vehicle or traffic on the road, that the luminosity clicks down. So that results in like an additional savings that would come back to the town in terms of reduced lighting costs. So he's going to take a look at all that and put together a plan and help us basically transition from the sodium vapor lights to the LED lights. The other part of this, I just want to let the board know, is that we do have an agreement with the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. They're going to provide us with an offset of $4,500 approximately. I don't have the exact number with me, to help us offset the costs of putting in the new lights. So that's basically a grant. We're also working through Eversource, and we're going to get a discount through certain light vendors by using their fixtures. So the whole project is moving forward. It's probably going to take a few months, 2 or 3 months, to actually get the whole thing done. But hopefully by the spring we'll have the lights up and people will be happy. A number of other communities have done this. The break even is 3 years, and then it's pure savings. So that would be my recommendation, that we go with LightSmart Energy Consulting.
How do we pay for these lights? With my
It's already part of the capital budget.
No, I didn't mean from our budget point of view, but it was my impression years ago that we paid N-Star, or whoever was here then, a set fee per light.
Yes, right now we do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
It's around $36,000. So
how does this change with these bulbs?
It's gonna, I don't have the exact percentages, but there's gonna be a substantial cost savings by switching from a sodium vapor light, which also has a shorter lifespan. Sodium vapor lights last anywhere from 3 to 5 years. The LED lasts 20 years and also use less energy. So there's a savings not only on capital maintenance costs, but also on energy costs.
So the total upfront project is how much money?
It's going to be around $35,000 when it's all said and done, but we're going to discount back the MAPC
The 5.
and the Eversource discounts. It's going to be around $26,000 by the time it's all said
Does
and
that
done.
include the consultant?
The consultant, yeah, the consultant's $2,700. It's not a lot of money, and
Well,
it's the
plus-
greatest scope of the project.
Plus $225 per hour. That's a number that, how many hours is he going to
They,
do extra?
I don't see him doing any extra hours. That's generally the way that, if there's something outside of the scope, then that will come in. But right now, the way the scope is defined in what he's laid out that's pretty much encompasses the entire scope of the project. So if there's something extraordinary, then that additional, that's sort of like a change order kind of thing that you do in a contract. Where if you're building something and you come into a problem, you say, well, geez, the door is not the same size of door that we need to, and it would be better if we put this kind of door in versus that kind of door. Then you process a change order and you incorporate those changes into the contract.
One last question on that. I think I'm missing something because all we're doing is changing bulbs, basically, right?
Yeah.
What are we consulting?
I don't know, I have a couple of questions too.
Well, the consulting is he's going to help us, put the bid out to get the bulbs. He's going to oversee the installation of the bulbs. He's going to negotiate with Eversource to reduce the cost of the existing inventory. I see this, every other community is going through MAPC, and that's part of the deal too in terms of going with MAPC, is that you're going to basically use one of their consultants to get the project done. They're giving us $4,500 to help us offset that cost.
Okay, so they're giving us $4,500, and out of that we'll pay $2,700.
I think that's cheap money. I don't have the expertise.
No,
all
no,
right?
I-
If you want,
7,000.
I'm sorry, what?
$2,750.
The total cost of the project is how much money?
approximately $36,000.
$36,000. We're
Well, this
gonna
is
get
just consultant that I'm 27
right,
on.
but so I'm looking at the overall cost of the project is
Right.
$36,000.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
We're
that
gonna
includes the $2,750. So we're gonna get how much back from?
probably around 10 grand.
So we're gonna
between
get
the
so it's
discounts
gonna
on the
cost us
Eversource and
$26,000
So
for
you
how
put-
many bulbs?
well, technically it's 86, but there are 5 that are located in different places that are not on the roadway. I believe the Freetown Elementary School has a couple bulbs up there and that kind of thing. They're basically providing project management. They're going to make sure the project gets done, that we buy the type of bulbs that we should buy, that I think it's money well spent. If the board disagrees with that, then that's the board's decision. But I think, I don't have the technical expertise. I don't want to put up 85 lights in the community that, everybody's going to be coming to the board and saying, oh my God, who put these lights up? Well, how did that happen? We want to avoid that situation, which is why I asked the consultant to put up a couple different style of lights so that we can then judge, what the best luminosity is, the color. There's a lot to do with the color of the light in terms of how bright it is, how white it is, how yellow it is. And once again, it comes down to the number of lumens that the bulb actually generates.
So I have another question. Is Eversource? Don't they do that by themselves? Like, wouldn't
We're
they
buying
change
the
it all?
lights. We're taking the lights over. Eversource is out of the picture. The only thing they do is
Oh,
sell.
okay.
How do we pay Eversource?
We pay them for electricity.
But that's a flat fee per month based on the bulb?
Yes. So that is going to go down because we're not using
Right.
sodium vapor lights. We're
So
using
could they
LED
give
lights.
us a better deal if they change the light bulbs?
They're not willing to do that. They don't. They want It's an either all in or all out kind of proposition. They don't. They're not going to. They don't. They want us to do that part of it, and we're going to have to do the maintenance on it too. There's a sample maintenance contract. I've talked to Brian Noble, who was in Christian, who is now in East Bridgewater, about a maintenance contract. He says it's very, very rarely that you'd use the maintenance in terms of replacing a bulb. So we'd have something outlying. So if a light went out by some freak, of nature, didn't last for 20 years, that we can then, we have a company on board that we can replace that light.
And do we know how much we're going to save a month?
Yeah, that was my next question.
I want to say it's around 40%.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a note about Eversource and their contract now. They don't maintain the lights because there are lights that are out.
Oh, I'm sure that you have to
That-
report those lights.
Yes,
and
and
then
even when my understanding is even when they
and they
report
put the
them,
light out and
They-
let the light up and then they
even when
amortize the
report,
cost.
yeah. Even when they report it to Eversource, they don't come out and fix them for long period of
Yeah,
time.
this is, if it goes out and I get a call, I call the maintenance company, they say, oh, we'll be out in 3 days, that kind of thing, so. I think that this is a win-win kind of situation for the town. I think $2,700 is cheap money to get the project done and to have the expertise we need to get the project done. And I've been dealing with these people. They did the street audit. They're pretty easy to deal with. They understand it. They've done it in a whole bunch of communities. So this isn't a new thing.
I guess I'm still confused. You keep saying $2,700 for the consultant, but the overall project is going to be $27,000.
Yes, because you're buying lights.
Right,
You're
but
buying-
right now we pay $13,000 a year in street lighting. So how
I
much
think
is it?
it's more than that.
It was 13, so if we went up anything, it wouldn't be that significant. But anyway,
It's
say
a
say
break even in
15.
3 years. I know that we paid for the lights and we're saving money.
And we're using a lot less energy and
And you get the same luminosity.
more technology.
Like I
What-
said, shutting them down, once again, that's a policy decision. At 11 o'clock, he says he's installing them all over the place. At 11 o'clock, they reduce the luminosity. When people come up to them, they lighten up, then they go back down again.
and
It's
that
sort
is-
of like
So if someone was under the light,
it would be full blast.
because that was one of my questions about just for police officers' safety.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, they don't
Thing
go,
is, you
they
try to
don't
get 'em on- if you can get 'em in
permanently go
front-
down.
if
That's
you-
my understanding of it. I'm not,
Yeah.
once again,
Well,
I'm
we can
not
check into
the
that.
expert here.
We can
But
check.
that's the way he said that it is an additional savings on top of what they're proposing. And every community is moving to this. I mean, it's not something that we're not being, a trailblazer here in terms of the technology, nor in terms of what we're trying to do. We're doing what every community is doing, and it's a green initiative that the state is looking favorably at, and I think that it's the way to go.
One of
So,
our ways to go towards a green community, correct?
Right. Okay.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Now, motion to accept.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No.
Say no.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm still don't know enough about it. And
all right, I can sit with you. I got
Yeah,
all
that's
the, I
fine.
don't have
That's
the file in front
that's
of
why I'm
me.
saying,
Normally,
I
I would have. I just figured this is something everybody was on
don't-
board
it's-
with.
Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to the idea. I guess I'm opposed to how
I can
much
give
money
you
it's
all-
going to cost and
Right.
where the break-even point is.
It's 3 years. I know
Okay.
that for a fact.
Okay, item number
40%.
3, corrective easement for Eversource at 15 Memorial Drive, new police station site.
Yes, I can. Oh, unless you want to.
It's just because the overhead wires have to go from one pole to another, and that's what the easement is for.
Yeah, they're relocating the pole. And plus, it improves. From my understanding, it improves.
They're not
the visibility.
relocating the pole, they're just adding another pole.
Oh,
Remember
all
we
right,
went through
okay,
that?
all right.
Because they looked at it and they don't need to relocate it,
I thought they
everybody
were
was
pushing it
comfortable.
back for some
But
reason.
they're adding another one, so then that way, that's why the wires are going from one pole to the next.
All right.
So that's what the
Okay.
easement is for.
That's what this picture is, yeah?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a drawing. It shows the two poles.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
We did discuss it at the police team meeting too, and the people who in the know basically said something.
Yeah, Taylor looked it over and kind of explained it to everybody, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Last item number 4 is the minutes from the June 19th meeting. Anyone have any questions?
Motion to accept.
Motion made to accept.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll entertain the motion
Mr.
to
Chairman?
adjourn. Yes.
Public discussion
Nothing on the,
for a minute.
well, can't hold it until next Monday?
All right,
No?
that's fine.
All right, because it's not on the agenda.
That's fine, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
So-
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.